Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Mayor Tim Elinski. Very, very pleased to have in the studio with us today, Rich Leever. Thanks for being here.
Nice to be here.
If you don't know Rich, you should. He's behind a lot of good things that happen here in Cottonwood, particularly around bicycles. Rich is the president of Bikes for Kids. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the program. Also a board member on both the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition and the Arizona Cycling Coalition as well.
That's correct.
So if you could, Rich, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to the Verde Valley, or where you're from, how you got involved in things here.
Okay. I'm from Ohio.
Okay.
Grew up and was raised there. Started my biking life in the state of Ohio and started biking all over the United States. Some friends of ours moved to the village of Oak Creek, invited us to come out in 2001. And as soon as I came to the Verde Valley, it was a place that I thought that I wanted to retire. Mm-hmm. I'm very much of an outdoors person. In addition to loving to bike, also like to hike. Mm-hmm. So we've been here for about 6 years. Okay. And if my health is good, I try to put in about 5,000 miles on my bike. If you're a serious biker, typically you fall into road biking, mountain biking, or both. Uh-huh. And I'm a road biker.
Okay, 5,000 miles a year on your road bike. That's impressive.
That's a goal.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite rides around the Verde Valley?
Some of the favorite rides for myself as well as a group would be Dry Creek Road, Boynton Canyon. Just an absolutely gorgeous place to be. Lower Red Rock Loop to Upper Red Rock Loop is a great area. And a road that is getting a little bit more busy, but absolutely a first-class road is Page Springs Road. Right. Just an absolutely gorgeous road.
All right, good. Nice, too, to be out here and you can pretty much ride year-round.
Yeah, that was really what brought me out here, the fact that we could ride year-round, and it's the most sunshine of just about any place you can go to.
That's true. Great. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Okay, well, thanks for having me.
Really had your hands in a lot of programs around the Verde Valley. I think you've been instrumental in some of the great programs that have brought bicycling to youth, which is phenomenal, and I certainly appreciate that, being an avid cyclist myself. But I'm just curious, how did you get to be involved in the different coalitions? Can you go into a little bit of info on that?
When I first got to Arizona, I became aware of the Verde Valley Cycling Coalition. It wasn't quite as active when I first got here, and I was contacted by somebody who had also moved to the area 6 months out of the year, who was interested in the coalition, and they knew that I had some leadership responsibilities for an informal group of road riders. So they invited me to join the board and see if we could get more road riders to be a part of the Verde Valley organization. And so that worked out well. We have we're still a smaller segment. The area is really probably much more well known for mountain biking because of all the trails and the scenic red rocks and things. But we do have a nice substantial group. About 100 people are road riders, and we have about 260 members in the group. Okay.
And how long, if you don't mind me interrupting, how long has the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition been in existence?
I think the coalition has been in existence since the early, I think about 2003. Okay. The thing that really, I think, cemented the relationship of the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition was when the village of Oak Creek and Sedona were putting in major road improvements on 179. It was the Cyclist Coalition who was able to get bike lanes installed in agreements with ADOT. So it was just it was a long process, but it's been something that I think has been very much appreciated by a lot of the local folks here.
Sure. And you ride and reside in Village of Oak Creek, is that correct?
No, I actually live in Cornville.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, we certainly rely a lot on coalitions like the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition to help guide policy. We're working hard in Cottonwood to get our silver status. I know.
Congratulations. Yep. That was a very, very well-earned award for Cottonwood. Just I know that the city has done a lot in the last 3 to 4 years to make that happen.
Yeah. thanks for everything you've done to help us get there.
Well, just I'm glad to be of help.
Yeah. So about 260 members for the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition. Now,
That's
what about the Arizona Cycling Coalition? How did you come to get involved in that?
Actually, when I first joined the VVCC, what I learned was that our charity, because we're a 501(c), was paying to have the bike lanes cleaned on 179. The only way the state of Arizona would agree to put bike lanes in on 179 in the village was if somebody would pay to have them cleaned. Mm-hmm. So we were the only organization that would step up to do that. And that was, again, about 2005, 2006. So at the time that I came and joined the organization, that was about $3,000 a year, which mm-hmm. was a lot of money for us. We have to go out and raise that money to clean state roads. Mm-hmm. So I became associated with some people that were part of the Arizona Bike Coalition, mm-hmm. who had really good relationships with the director of ADOT and also with certain levels at state government. Mm-hmm. And so a couple of us from the board approached them to see if they could help us work with the state to see if the state would be willing to allow us to give that responsibility up, because we were the only state road in the entire state of Arizona that was being cleaned and paid for by a charity.
That's really interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's so in fact, one of the things I've learned through the participation in the organization is that there are no bike lanes in the state of Arizona that are cleaned by the state. Mm-hmm. So if a bike lane gets put in, it has to be maintained by the local entity that is going to put it in. So for Cottonwood, if the bike lanes are even on a state road, it has to be cleaned by the city. So it's you'll learn a lot that you don't know, and certainly understand a lot more about taxes than I did before.
Right. I'm sure they're glad to have you. They probably saw you coming, right? Well, he's here to retire. Let's grab him as quick as we can, and get him on the board, and put him to work.
So it was really beneficial, and I've made some really very positive relationships with members of ADOT. They're a really good group of people to work with.
So what happens now on out there in the VOC? Is it?
Well, what happens is I still am in charge of working with ADOT mm-hmm. to get it clean, and I work with one of the local representatives out of Flagstaff, mm-hmm. Coordinate, how often that it gets cleaned, and then I also work with ADOT to, if there are potholes or if there's mm-hmm. things growing in the road, we have construction issues where things get dumped off of trucks and that type of thing. So since I'm a pretty avid road cyclist, I just keep track of where things need help. And again, I cannot say enough positive things about ADOT. They don't have as much money as they would like to work with, mm-hmm. but they always are very timely in helping us out and it's something extra for them.
Sure, that's great. But no longer does the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition need to pay to have that?
No, we don't have to pay for that. It's been about 2 years, and so we're able to use some of the money to help support some really neat things that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Okay, great.
And so as far as membership on either of these coalitions, is it open for any member of the public or cycling enthusiasts?
Yeah, we would, the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition, almost all of our members are local, but we have people that come from out of state, even out of the country, mm-hmm. that love to ride in the area and can join the organization and benefit from our meetings and from some of the things that we do for mm-hmm. cyclists. But for predominantly, we're a local organization and try to serve the Verde Valley.
Right. Okay. And the statewide organization?
The statewide organization is there to support the entire state of Arizona mm-hmm. On any kind of cycling issues that may come up. The largest part of the focus for the organization tends to be more where the population centers are, like Tempe, Tucson, and Phoenix.
Sure.
And however, since they were instrumental in helping the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition with some of the things that we needed to do, it's been really helpful to be a part of the organization, so that for other issues that we're working on today, they provide a lot of guidance on how to get things done.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Well, we're going to take a quick break here for a commercial break. When we get back, I want to talk about one of your greatest accomplishments, I think, is the Bike for Kids event. So, yeah, come back and stay tuned. Thanks.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Tim Elinski, Mayor of Cottonwood. With me is Rich Leever, a gentleman that we're pleased to have. He retired here from Ohio.
Right.
And came out to the sunshine and good weather so we could log in 5,000 miles on his road bike annually here in the Great Verde Valley. Rich has been instrumental in a lot of different programs that have come to fruition here in the Verde Valley. And one I think that I'd like you to speak about today is the Bikes for Kids program that you've put together.
Okay. Bikes for Kids, for me, started about 2.5 years ago. When I first joined the coalition, the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition, they were working with the fire department to put on bike rodeos in Sedona, and so I was invited to help out with that, and it really gave me the bug. Saw 100 kids really having a great time, on their bicycles. And I also learned at that time that one of the local businessmen was giving away free bikes to kids. And what I've learned very quickly is that the Verde Valley has a lot of kids whose families don't necessarily have the money to afford some of the really nicer bikes that are out there. So I suggested to the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition that maybe what we could do is get into the business of giving away bikes. And that evolved into a program called Bikes for Kids that has two different segments. The first year, we started by buying 7 bicycles for Cottonwood Elementary School and got one of the teachers there to start a mountain bike team. And was very, very successful. The kids loved it, and the more we started to talk to other schools about the program, and so 2 years later, we've gone from 1 school to 7 schools. And so now we have almost 80 kids riding mountain bikes at mountain bike clubs at schools in the Verde Valley.
And what age range do you focus on?
The age range for us right now is from 3rd grade to the 8th grade.
Okay.
I've also met with the high school, the principal at Mingus, about starting a program there. And so we're hoping that that's something that we can do within the next 12 to 24 months. Right. The biggest challenge of the program, and what I'm hoping might happen from the program that we're having today, is that it's not easy for us to find coaches. So we have a combination of coaching. Some of it is from teachers who love the mountain bike and who work at the schools. And so we have 3 of those people that help us out. And for the other 4 schools, we have, typically it's retired people, although we do have a few people that work full-time but are able to break away from work right after school and help us with kids. So I'd like to use this opportunity that if anyone would be interested in coaching kids from 3rd grade to high school, to let us know, because we, as we grow the program, that's going to be the one area where we need the most help.
Right. And so what does it take to be a coach, if you can go into a little bit of detail about that? Well,
in order to be a coach, it would be helpful that you are at least what I would call an intermediate mountain biker. The older the kids are, the better it is that for you to have more advanced skills in mountain biking. But we offer training for coaches that are interested. So if you're a basic mountain bike rider today, but you'd love to get to the intermediate and advanced level, we'd love to pay to have you do those things in order to be a coach for us. And typically what coaching involves is that it's about an hour to 2 hours working with the kids.
And is that daily or a couple times a week?
It's as much as a coach wants to, but typically it's 1 day a week. Well, and typically it's 1 to 7, excuse me, it's 7 to 9 kids for one coach.
Okay. So not unachievable.
No, it's not. It really works pretty well. But again, because it's not at the end of the day where some people are getting off work, that's where we sometimes struggle to find the sweet spot.
Sure.
And a lot of teachers are very busy. They have families, or they don't. They have other interests, and so it's not, let's say, a natural sport that a lot of teachers can coach. But so far, it's working well.
That's great. Yeah, just a couple hours a week is all you're asking. Yeah.
The other part of the program, so part one is we start mountain bike clubs at schools, and we've and our first entry into that was typically 3rd grade through the 5th grade. This year we started at Oak Creek and have gone to 7th and 8th grade, and over the next 2 years we expect to expand to 7th and 8th grade. And as I mentioned earlier, and we also hope to expand to Mingus High School, and we'd also love to start a program at Camp Verde High School.
Sure.
There's a second part of the program that gives away bicycles to children in the school system. What we do is we go to the principal and the teachers at the school and let them know that we would like to give away bikes, and we give them away with the help and support of the Verde Valley Bicycle Company. A gentleman by the name of Bill Jackson, who has purchased the company and has really done a lot for the community. And Bill allows us to purchase Trek bikes at cost, which allows us to purchase a lot more bicycles. So what we do then is we partner with the schools and let them know that we'd like kids that are really good behavioral role models for other students, that show up to class, and that are really good academic performers as well. And then they become eligible to win a free bike at the end of their school year. So in our last year, we gave away 42.
42 bikes?
Yes. Our first year we gave away 7. Last year 42, and this year we'll give away 100.
Wow.
So it's a pretty significant amount of bikes. So these are, and they're kids that hopefully, and the number one criteria that we make sure that the schools understand is that kids really need to want to have a bike, because of the kind of commitment that we're trying to make. So the kids get to pick their own color of bike, they get to pick their own helmet, and then something else that we do is we throw in lifetime free maintenance for the bike as long as that family owns a bike.
It's pretty amazing, Rich.
It's pretty exciting for us. We're really excited, and and one of the things that we are trying to make sure as we continue to expand the program is to make sure that the families have an easy way if there's something that goes wrong with the bike to get it back to the bike shop for a repair, because not every family has a bike hitch that they can slap on the back of their truck or their vehicle. So, so that's something we're going to work on, just to make sure that the families know that if they have an issue, flat tires, brakes, anything happens, that they can get it back to the bike shop.
That's great. Well, thanks to Verde Valley Bicycle Company and Bill Jackson and his great staff down there. I mean, just an amazing business.
They are a really big asset to the community, and we just cannot speak enough about what they're doing for the community, because they stepped up without any hesitation. Not only did they provide us to the bikes at cost, but they do assemblies, they do repairs. Just a wonderful group of people that work there. Yeah.
Well, good for you and your team too for putting this program together. As you know, a lot of the schools here are Title I. There's a lot of poverty in the Verde Valley, and what a great thing to give an opportunity to kids to have a shiny new bike who achieve well in school. And thank you for that.
Well, it's neat to see them on the streets when we're driving around, because we can recognize the colors and some of the kids. So it's been really exciting.
Yeah, it makes a big difference in their lives, I'm sure. So I'm just curious, how do you fund this program? Is it through donations?
Well, one of the things that we're hoping this program might do is to help us with donations. We fund it through a number of ways. One of the ways is that we, as an organization, we are eligible for the Arizona state tax credit. So I think most of the people that have to file in Arizona realize that if they want to donate, I should say get a tax credit for certain organizations, whether it's a school or a not-for-profit like us, that they can donate up to $400 for a single person and up to $800 for a married couple. So we try to educate people that we are that type of an organization, and we would love to see people that can help us out in that way. We call on businesses, knock on doors, and raise money at any place and every place where we do business. And another thing that we do is, in fact, this is be a good time to recognize Kevin Adams. Kevin Adams is the treasurer of Bikes for Kids, and Kevin has raised about 98% of all the money. So when we talked about buying 100 bikes to give away, or having 80 bikes that are at these mountain bike clubs, Kevin has been instrumental. He's raised almost all the money through contacting numerous foundations, not only in the state of Arizona, but all over the United States, to let them know what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish here. And in this past year, through Kevin's efforts, we were actually recognized as a shining star by one of the local Arizona community foundations, and received a grant from them. So every year we have to apply for the grants that we need in order to continue to be able to fund the bicycles that we buy, both for the clubs and the bicycles that we give away. And the other thing that we think is going to be necessary for us to really maintain on a long-term basis is we see ourselves having to actually pay coaches long-term in order to go from, let's say, 7 schools and 80 bikes to go to possibly 13 or 14 schools and 14 programs with maybe 200 or 300 kids. The only way that we see us being able to do that and then maintain it is if we actually go out and raise the money to hire the coaches, because if at any time if coaches leave and we don't have a backup plan, then the bikes sit and they don't get used. So so that's how we raise the money. Kevin has just been just absolutely fantastic and continuing to try to look for organizations that will help us to fund this unique activities.
Great. Well, thanks again to you and Kevin. And if folks out there that are listening feel like they can give a couple hours a day or a week to help, that would be great. Also, don't forget about your organization in terms of tax credit. Yeah. All right, so we have to take just one more quick break for a minute, and then when we get back, I want to talk just a little bit about Cottonwood's efforts to achieve silver status and maybe some improvements that you think from your perspective we could continue to work on. So don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm Mayor Tim Elinski here with Rich Leever, who was just telling us a lot about a program he started, or helped to start, called Bikes for Kids. Really having a tremendous impact on a positive impact on the youth in our community. In 7 schools?
It's in 7 schools right now.
Yep.
We all of Cottonwood schools,
yep.
1 in Camp Verde, and we are also in Sedona and Beaver Creek.
Yep. So great program, worth supporting. If you know of anyone that likes to mountain bike, wants to be a coach, please direct them toward Rich and the Bikes for Kids program.
Great.
So, in the few minutes we have left, I wanted to talk a little bit about Cottonwood's efforts of obtaining silver status as a bicycle-friendly community, something I've been passionate about for a lot of years and have shared that passion with many council members. We've worked very hard. You've been a big help in that, and I just wanted to talk to you about what you see as kind of next steps moving forward with Cottonwood and the Verde Valley in terms of being more bicycle-friendly.
Well, the first thing that I would want to point out is that Cottonwood has really made some significant improvements as they've put either brand new roads in or repaved roads. Is that all of us that are road bikers really are excited about the, I won't call them bike lanes, but the shoulders that are available and well paved for bikers within Cottonwood. Yeah. There are our organization, the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition. We have 2 different, really actually 3 different groups of riders that ride at least once a week within the Cottonwood area, because Cottonwood has such a good infrastructure for biking within the area. And also because the traffic here is a whole lot less than in the Sedona area.
Right.
And one of the other things that has really been attractive to us as cyclists is Cottonwood has attracted a number of great places to eat. And they've all been very welcoming to us as bike riders over the years. So it's just been great. And so I think what we would ask is as you continue to look at infrastructure, look for ways to add more places for people to get on the road. One of the things that would be, I know from trying to go from a silver to a gold, I know that we just obtained the silver status. And what I learned in being associated with Cottonwood's Bicycle Advisory Committee is that one of the things that the Bicycle League of America looks for is getting bike lanes on what they call, I think, the major arteries in town. Right. And the real challenge for Cottonwood is that 89A and 260 have so much traffic that really makes it a struggle. And I don't know that there's ever going to be an easy solution to that. Right. So one way that I know that that Cottonwood was able to come up with the silver status was by making some changes on Old Main Street, by taking it from 2 lanes on either side to adding a bike lane and then a center lane down the middle and making that 1 lane, which slows down traffic, gives bikers a much wider place to ride. And so I think those kinds of changes are big wins for the community, because you make it easier for families and people on bikes to get around, not only just for biking, but also to take care of, I should say, to visit some of the local businesses.
Sure.
You know, get to the Riverfront Park down there. I mean, it's great venue. So we just can't say enough about what Cottonwood has done and continues to do to move forward in making it a more bicycle-friendly organization.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Look forward to continued success too, in partnership with you and your organizations. So, thanks, Rich, for being here.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. I learned a lot, and I'm glad you moved out here. We're lucky to have you. Thanks for volunteering. Thanks for supporting our youth in the community, and also just a big shout out to the Verde Valley Bicycle Company and all their continued support. So if you have a chance, please go and patronize that business. They'd love to see you. You can get trail maps and everything else there. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim.
All right. That's it for today. So join us next month for Inside Cottonwood. Take care.